to struggle even in games where he seems like a perfect counter for the opponent's draft. Like, it's really hard to make this hero have high impact sometimes.
I think, my feeling is he is pretty timing sensitive, like, especially if you get that Ags, but heroes of BKBs, you have to get the ult off super quickly. And if heroes, even if heroes don't have BKBs and you don't have Ags, it's still, you gotta get off before, like, the Bruce splits, so... That's where I feel maybe Disruptor's just not a great hero on SEA. Most of the teams tend not to have the best ping, although in the case of Invasion they're from Malaysia, so shouldn't be too laggy, but yeah, one of the more timing sensitive supports, I would say.
Well, we'll introduce our two teams here on the Radiant side. We've got Invasion, we're going to have Ghost on the offlane Batrider, gets an early Observer Ward down. This little Fire Trail may get scattered out, which is a bit of a telling sign if Venge can get there, and Venge, I think, saw that little fire trail, so hasn't put a sentry ward down just yet.
Might not have been looking in the river.
Yeah. Seems to not be doing that. And the rest of the Invasion side will have FZFZ on the Magnus, will be headed mid. ADTR playing the Disruptor. We're going to have OK on the Ogre Magi, and then Kecik Imba on the Medusa.
Well, as for Insidious Idol, you mentioned one of them, but we've got Chu as your offlane Nyx Assassin. I'm going to get spotted out here by the big old beefcake, the Ogre. Driven back a bit, and the mid lane goes Ysera playing that Ember Spirit, and then towards the top side of the map, you'll have Shagasaurus, as you mentioned, on the Venge, BSR on your Skywrath, and that leaves Chivix to handle the Slark.
Okay. The battle begins.
Looking for the Slark to have a very explosive game. He's a really nice pick here.
Yeah, they didn't see the ward go down. They guessed wrong with the sentry putting on this big cliff, which is a pretty common Radiant off-laner warding spot if you don't feel like you can get to the jungle in time, but... Shagasaurus, what's he up to here?
Little courier snipe action, maybe?
It is a bottle rush, but it still takes a couple... What?
Just warding the Batrider's camp, but he's spotted, so...
Yeah, you can't sneak through there during daytime. Yeah, it's just going to block the camp with a sentry, though, so by the time Batrider falls back there, the sentry's mostly expired.
I'm not sure about that.
Not a fan.
He's going to go into FCFC, but it's not like they're going to... Oh, maybe they will try to go on him. That's not happening.
That was an awkward little gank.
This is a very awkward gank.
Zero armor Skywrath. Have fun with tower hits.
Yeah, I'm not feeling it, gods.
Yeah. Meanwhile,
sloppy start here for Insidious Idol.
Yeah. Bat's getting full XP and contesting the lane with the Slark, so...
Yeah, he'll have a quick level 2. He did already go for the point Firefly, so it's not like you can fully keep him out of lane, but makes his life a little bit easier. I do like the fact that they're being active with their supports, but it's just that particular brand of activity doesn't seem ideal.
Yeah, they're going to try and start pushing Ghost out of this top lane now with Concussive Shot and the Pounce, but he's got Tangos, he can just sustain himself pretty well, and his main goal here is to hit that level 3, level 4, and then he jungles just so goddamn fast. The supports can stack the big camp over in the jungle if they need to, and he should be able to catch up pretty well. He doesn't know yet that his western camp has been blocked off, but that's not the end of the world for him. Does have to be careful though. Venge Skywrath can very easily bring him down if he's not careful, but if he keeps the supports busy, it means they're not ganking mid. If they're not getting runes as well, it's also a victory for Invasion.
Yeah, and running this Venge Skywrath, you would like to see them be aggressive. They do have that smoke, and I imagine we'll see them look to use it soon, but because it's an offlane bat, he's much more likely to be able to just tell that they're somewhat missing. They are looking for a go here on Chu bottom lane, but he'll level 1 Disruptor. So no real potential. At the same time, OK is going to rumble towards mid. This could be a hero kill. He's just popped this out. That's a Boots Ogre.
Yeah, that's it. I don't think he wants to go for the courier.
I mean, it is the 7 armor hero, so he could dive there for a while, but not that long.
If he came like 3 seconds early, he maybe gets that courier, so...
He's going to go back in on Ysera, though. This could be a tower kill. They can skewer him back into the tower. Or not. Or they can do that.
Yikes. Close. Like, nah, not me.
It is the level 1 stun. It's a very short duration. Well, actually, sorry, it is actually the same duration on levels. Yeah, I don't know then.
No.
I guess it is a pretty short duration stun in general, though.
A skewer is like, yeah, knowing the exact range to know where to click is not the easiest thing in the world. Magnus is one of those heroes you have to play and practice a bit to get those skewer backs perfectly placed, but...
Yeah, 1.5 seconds is actually a very short stun.
No, I think he should have been able to get that one FC, but hey, not the end of the world for him.
Yeah, if he moved a bit farther, but there's just no margin for error with that, whereas if it's like a, I don't know, a Sven stun or something, it's much easier to set up.
And Seas are going to go for their smoke now, so Venge Skywrath, realizing that Batrider is ditched out on this top lane, they have no reason to stay there, they want to go mid. FC's got skewer back up though, so... Have they got Snow? Just got level 1 support Skywrath and level 2 Venge. This is not an easy kill by any means.
Can they interrupt the skewer or just prevent him from getting it off? We're gonna find out. If they don't, there's no way they get this kill.
There's no silence, and
that's not happening.
Jeez, that's
the double whiff for Insidious Idol. Wasted smoke. Not really zoning the Batrider out at all, as we point out. Already level 4, and now another tail gank. And
yep.
That sentry ward, I mean, you did point out how they blocked, how
job.
It's a sentry, but...
Well, the supports haven't done their job. They have not stacked this big camp. Disruptor's just here killing this medium camp. Sure, he maybe misses a last hit if he goes to stack it, but it's worth it. You gotta give that for your Batrider, so...
Well, Ogre went mid to set up a kill, but he could have, like, stopped off to stack
the Disruptor was right there. Like, he's just right next to that camp.
Yeah.
There's,
well,
like,
there are
no
other opportunities as well.
Goes back bottom lane, they want to go in this Success, and stuns are waiting him. Carapace hasn't been cast just yet, it gets cast now, and I think he actually dodges the Mystic Snake, which is pretty nice, but... And Medusa gets the last hit, so...
Meanwhile, mid lane, wrap around on Ysera. Well, never mind. Batrider just going to hunting.
He's sick
gonna
of
find
his
some tire stacks as well. Oh, this is juicy. Oh, it's so nice. And he's level 4, so he can definitely take these
He says,
out.
my team won't stack for me, I'll take your stacks then, guys. You guys have some good supports.
This is Imba, dude. This Batrider's got 4 supports on his team right now.
Yeah. Well, 2 of them aren't doing their job on the Radiant side. Luckily, the Dire supports are.
Well, 2's better than 0. Because that's been the impact of the Scarlet Mage and the Venge so far, unfortunately.
Yeah, this has been a complete fail support duo. It reminds me a bit of like the Shadow Demon Leshrac or Shadow Demon Lina support duos you see every now and then, which are super high risk. You've got to find those early ganks, or the duos just doesn't seem to be worth it. I think Skywrath Venge a bit different, because Skywrath can zone out while Venge goes for like solo ganks towards mid lane and is more annoying, but the way Insidious have played this is like a strict support duo that has to stick together at all times.
Yeah, it's just very... I don't think it should be that hit or miss, but this game it's just been very hit or miss, and normally it's a pretty reliable duo, your Skywrath Venge. You've got a really long range initiation and concussive shot, a very reliable stun in the Magic Missile, which there's no real solution for this game. There's no blinks, as of yet anyway. Magnus has skewer, but you can still stun him, and you also have that instant silence. It isn't that long range. But it should be long enough in general to get in close and set things up.
Hasn't actually gotten one point yet. Top rune's going to be contested here, so we will see bounty rune taken by the Ember Spirit. Mag has got himself in a good position. One more shockwave is going to be the death of Shagasaurus. So they get one kill. Can they get the second here? Ysera's already pretty low here. The RP going to be used as a Fire Blast in a couple seconds as well. Vyram.
What a play by Ysera. He's looking for 2.
Wow.
This could be 3, or maybe it's just the 2.
Misses the Sleight of Fist. Okay, he's going to get
your gold. Oh. Come on, buy a TP, my friend.
Value was lost. Black gets his Midas, so...
It is a really good Slark game, so... I wouldn't be very happy from Invasia right now, even though those early support rotations failed. Giving up those kills, now the Ember starts to snowball a little bit. Gold and experience will both go Insidious Idol's way. Now they do have the Batrider who can catch up in the jungle, but... There's no stacks waiting for him here. There's no stacks waiting for him here. He's got no stacks at all, actually.
Yeah,
very odd to see that it's 7 minutes into the game.
These supports are a big disappointment. They've been... Venge take like 3 right clicks to get that. That's not happening. It comes back now as well, so... Instant TP and no follow-up stuns.
Well played. In the meantime, at the top river, Ghost on the run, getting chased out by Chivix, has that leap. Gonna find it too, and that will be the death of Mr. Ghost. It looks like chained up as well, and down she goes.
Okay.
Dire's top
so
tower
Insidious
is under attack.
Actually doing alright here, despite some of the most unsuccessful support rotations early on. They're still looking like they're in a pretty good position with the Ember Spirit as well as the Slark having a fantastic time, and the ganks are now starting to pick up. With the help of the Ember Spirit to initiate as well as the Slark, well, the supports just can offer some kind of follow-up firepower.
Yeah, it's just been a generally fail game for both team supports. More so for Insidious Idol, I would say, but still quite a bit for both teams.
Yeah. So Ember Spirit, Phase Boots, Magic Wand, most of his core early game items are now online, and definitely something to be worried about when he's already level 8. So has that high damage Max Flame Guard, has the dual point in Searing Chains, and
they don't have any physical damage right now, so Max Flame Guard will be particularly strong in this game, I would say. At the same time, I think the one hero I'm most worried about from Invasion is the Slark. You have no real solution for him. You don't have a Doom. Static Storm Glimpse is pretty unreliable if you don't get it exactly right, and eventually he'll have a BKB or anyway, or potentially that Lincoln Sphere, so.
And he's about to find himself maybe in getting another kill, getting a tower top. The smoke here, bringing the Ember Spirit, and this is designed to get a kill plus tower. Even if you just get one or the other, it's still a pretty good fight here. Batrider hiding in the trees, did not get scattered by that house, so he's still, well, safe for now.
At the same time though, gods, they do not have their Blink Dagger and FCFC.
They see Mag coming too. They've got a nice Observer Ward here for this.
He bought his Arcane Boots, not trying to rush the Blink.
Okay, so it seems Insidious are just going to play it safe. They see Mag coming, and obviously worried about follow-up TPs, which is Ogre gets spotted as well. So this is turning to be a really value ward, although it's not leading to kills. Right now it's just leading to them to play safe, and Batrider... Uh-oh.
This is trouble. With no... I can't... 9.5 minutes, still 0 stacks in the jungle for an Ember.
Dire's bottom tower
on the Insidious side, you mean?
Oh, no, in the... Or, sorry, not for Ember, for Batrider.
Yeah.
2 fire creatures, but yeah, with that dying to the offlane and the fact that there's no stacks, he's gonna have a really delayed Blink Dagger this game. We're looking at like 14 plus minutes probably.
And that's with stealing the enemy stacks on bottom lane. Medusa now going down. Like, your one hero that was doing well on the Radiant side to some extent now gets picked off as well, so...
I mean, who's going to control the flow of the game? Magnus trying to find a nice little double damager in here, but not much he can do to follow that one up.
And that's more just annoying for Ysera. That's going to force him to bottle crow or go and heal up. He's out of mana, so he may just leave a Fire Remnant and then Mo's going to walk home and then come back to the Fire Remnant, perhaps. Top lane. Meanwhile, Slack's hit the pounce. That's on the Batrider, who also gets hit by the Ancient Seal, and one more right click. Chibix gets a kill. Needs to find an escape now. Disruptor's there, and this is not going to be easy for him to get out of this one. The Ogre Magi starts with a stun, Ignite as well. No Shadow Dance. Pounce on over, and the Glimpse isn't there. It's on cooldown. Chibix is going to survive.
Out 1 second to go on that Glimpse. No. It's too late. Your Magnus a bit too slow. Glimpse is there.
Whew, just came up.
But he might just run the other way.
You've got another pounce, and you're not killing this guy.
He's too tanky now.
He walks into Mag. Maybe he wants to go for a fight here. No, he's gonna dodge. He's healed up enough from the Shadow Dance regen.
That is 4 deaths for the Batrider. And I want to point out Ogre went for a stack here, but he mistimed it.
Oh, I saw him waiting around. I'm like, okay, he's finally doing some stacks.
Did not get the stack off there. 11 minutes. The only stacks for the Batrider have been from the enemy support here. Bottom lane, they're going to look to go on and Kecik Imba. Gets off that ultimate, does manage to freeze the next assassin.
Revenge.
And the bench.
Dire's
Oh, that's
bottom tower
fortunate.
has fallen. Radiant's
Hard to
top
gank Medusa.
tower is under attack.
Yes. TP's like a force, so Invasion can bring all 5 bottoms, so
Radiant's
even though the
middle
gank
tower
fails,
is
at this
under
point if you're
attack.
Insidious, you just kind of... You've already lost your T1 tower. I think you just back off and farm elsewhere on the map. If they go for the tier 2, you try and stall them, just spam some howls, have Nyx Assassin throw an Impale, but you're getting a tower top. That's Slack with a T1 tower. He's got 2k gold suddenly. He's almost got for the Blink, or maybe goes for the Shadow Blade, whatever it may be.
Nice 2 hero Impale. Bottom lane is Chew is going to try to retreat out from Invasion, but he looks to be done for. Skewer, not really the best Skewer at first, it looks like, but then he gets a great 2 hero RP, so FCFC in the end turns out to be a great initiation.
I guess it
He
was
skewered like directly in between both heroes so that he could get the RP on both. I don't know if that was intended, but it worked out beautifully.
It looked nice.
Looked sexy.
Oh, goes.
Oh, another death. Jesus, dude.
That was just so casual from Chibix. Just
that one you can't particularly blame him for, but it's just all the other deaths so to put him in this position.
I think that's an okay place for. But even on 150 HP, you're so far behind for getting your blink. You try and jungle with 200 HP. I don't blame him for that.
Yeah,
you gotta,
I do blame him for
greedy.
like 2 or 3 of the other ones, but
yeah, he's this Slack is just gonna walk into kill after kill at this rate. The Dark Pact doesn't get cast there, but he's still gonna hit the pounce and the Dark Pact to follow.
There is no RP though. Yeah, that's a dead ogre. It looks like Insidious Idol are just starting to run away with this game a little bit. They're up by 3,000 gold, 3,000 experience. Invasion do a really good late game. They don't have their Blink Dagger anywhere in sight on this Batrider though. I mean, he's gonna have it in 700 gold, but 13 minutes in, that's like a 16-minute Blink Dagger probably.
Yeah.
And by that point, can they find kills with it? They're gonna need to like RP and Lasso to bring these cores down, I feel.
Flack's got 3k gold, so probable Shadow Blade when you save up this much, and
yeah, maybe Scotty. What else could he go for?
I think you need that initiate, like either the blink or the Shadow Blade for the initiation here, but and then the Scotty is great. Bat again. Woohoo! Nice static storm. RP not up yet for 20 seconds, but they're gonna do a decent fight regardless. Good impale from the Nyx stats. Will cover the retreat. Hits 3 and well, Nyx now needs a way out of it. Does not have any kind of blink or force start to help him escape just yet. Just level 1 carapace as well, and Slack nearby.
They're gonna engage here, but everybody drops low inside of the kinetic field. Chibik's gonna try to fight his way out. Ysera got turned to stone. They may end up losing 4, even 5 heroes. As Ysera comes driving on through, he's gonna get RP'd. They've still held it this entire time. Skewered and brought down. That's 4 heroes dead.
The AoE damage, Shivix blinks in, but he just gets brought down so low incredibly fast thanks to just Firefly, Magnus with shockwaves, and all these different nukes.
That was like 80% Disruptor. What a great kinetic field static storm. But Chibix may look to turn this one, gets multi, doesn't have ultimate to fight his way out. His leap cooling down in 3 seconds time, but that might be a 1 or 2 seconds too long. Mystic players there. He's going to barely leap out to safety. And now he may look to turn and run back in. FCFT going down in the end. That's a decent bounty, a killing spree for the Magnus down the drain. Okay will fall as well. It's a huge... Oh, maybe he won't. He's barely able to survive here. Nyx on the chase, though. He's able to get... Nope, they've got a sentry. Can he get this kill? Mana Burn won't do it. He's going to have to hit an impale the good old-fashioned way. Where's that carapace? Still holding. He gets the impale on the Bat Rider in the end, but Kecik Imba there to clean him up.
Alright,
what a ridiculous fight. And the recap says 1 kill for the Dire.
I got 5.
I got
a few more.
I got a... Oh, there's a secondary recap.
Yeah.
So the first recap was for 1 kill. The secondary recap was for 5.
Please give BTS teamfight recaps, Volvo.
That ain't gonna happen.
Well, I don't know. I don't know who won that fight, to be honest. It looked like it was kind of even, just even back and forth. Slack stays alive, I guess, is the big thing, but he also didn't get too many kills in the end. Like his ganks came earlier. He kept going back in and only got like the 1 kill on the Disruptor in the end. So no dominant Slack performance there. Like I was expecting to see Slack just complete rampage.
He's pretty squishy. He now buys the ultimate orb, which I don't think he had for that fight. And
yeah, he needs just HP stats ASAP.
That's where Spenny's gold could have made a difference potentially. Ysera's going to get caught out here mid lane. He tries to walk outside of the static from the skewer. A pretty big fail by FCFC as the 2-hero chains come through. Your Mystic Flare Bomb. Oh, FCFC, you pulled your team into a very awkward position.
The RP was just on cooldown. It came up as he just died at the end there.
That was also a fail skewer. The combination of misfortune and misplay really stacking up here against Invasion.
Well, we'll see.
Kecik has another 1600 gold in the bank, so...
Yeah, this will be a
Medusa's farming well, but I feel like the Medusa is countered a lot more than the Slark is this game.
He is going for that kind of no stats build that you kind of mentioned you can do. He's picked up the Yash to start things off against the Mana Burn. This is definitely one way to play this.
Cooldown for 5 seconds, though. They're going to deploy a sentry here. Look to hold the line.
Not stun game. Relax. Can he glimpse anyone, though? Looks like he'll get a Skyra here. The kinetic field is there, but not going to actually get silent.
Is coming, though. So I don't know about this, guys.
This is the cleanup crew here. Slack. Oh, that's a fail.
Not a few counts like that.
RP coming. Oh! He whiffs it. Immediate Dark Packed Out coming in from the Slark, and he wants Kecik Imba. There's no Stone Gaze. He's got the backup from Yoga Magi. Chibik's thinking about diving into the town. Not to go for it. Changes direction. Looks to meet up with his team. Now gets slashed up. That's going to get dead Slark to start things off. Ysera's going to be the one kind of left to kind of fight this Invasion squad, and he's forced to run. So weird, messy fights over and over again. Invasion clearly winning that one by a 1500 gold change lead.
This is more of your classic SEA Dota, just up and down. One team gets 3-4 kills, on the other team gets 2 or 3, and back and forth around the merry-go-round we go. As soon as one team has a lead, they can fail to hold on to it. They fumble it back the other direction, and both teams very good late game. Both teams very good initiation. I don't have a clear favorite, maybe a slight late game advantage for Invasion, I would say, but if the Slark can just cut down on the deaths, get up his core items, and start snowballing, then I think they can run away with it. But if the Slark doesn't snowball, gods, I'm not sure that anyone else in this team will be able to handle Invasion later on.
it feels like the next 10 minutes favor Insidious with how well Slack's doing, but the big problem is also like Nick's not having a blink dagger. He doesn't have that initiation tool, which Insidious ideally want. They don't want to have Slack having to go in first with his blink pounce. They want someone like a Nick to set things up with an impale and go from there. Like especially if you're trying to gank someone like a Medusa.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Don't really have an easy initiate outside of that. Chains is pretty much it. You can go in with the Slark, but we've seen multiple fights where when Slark just jumps in right away with his and uses his ultimate to like try to live through that initial barrage of nukes, then he has nothing left to do in the fight because he's not tanking up to just stand there and man fight. And there's too much AoE damage from Invasion that brings him low even during the ult.
Bottom tower has fallen.
I definitely agree. They'd like for someone else besides the Slark to initiate. The Ember's okay, but Nyx is really your ideal AoE lockdown follow-up.
Slark gonna venture towards his mid lane and no lasso. Blink in, and I guess we are worried about maybe a Dark Pact, although it wasn't cast in the end. Bit of a standoff from the two teams. They trade tier 1 middle lane for the tier 1 top lane. And for Invasion, I think this kind of favors them. Slowing things down a bit, not looking to just take on constant fights where Slark is really strong. Now this is pre-Skadi, so he's going to be picking up his Skadi in just a second now, and we'll get a whole lot stronger with this. But even so, I feel like this is not the time to be fighting if you're Invasion.
Yeah, it's not a very fast Scotty at this point, as Deuce has already managed to complete her Lincoln Sphere, only about 1,200 gold down. Do they really try for this Roche sneak? This is not the kind of lineup we saw last game with a Lycan and a Medallion online. It's just the... Actually, they have a Medallion, but not delivered yet. This is going to take ages. They have good wards. Actually, really good wards, just to give general eyes on Invasion's movements. But speak of Invasion gods, a little smoke arena from their base. They might have eyes on this Roche, but actually where the real action is going to come down is mid. Looking for that Nyx assassin. He's closing in on his blink. Doesn't have it yet, though. Your Bat Rider is going to burn a path across the river. They're hunting. Chu goes invis. Everybody scatters. No, maybe not everybody scatters. Oh, Ghost thinking about it, but that nighttime... I don't think has the vision.
Yeah, and he doesn't have the Force Staff as well, so if he blinks forward, even if he sees one, blinks forward, grabs the lasso, without a Force Staff to get out of there, he just dies and probably doesn't even help get that one kill, so... Not really the best time in the mid-game for Invasion to go smoke ganking without this Force Staff. I feel it's a crucial item for him right now, but... for a blink skewer,
yeah.
That's ambitious, and he may pay the price.
RP is there, but you're smart, able to just Dark Pact right through it. That's the quick kill. He actually did cancel the RP, yeah. Still... out of the fight, and that means team fight gets hard. Magnus does not have a buyback available. He can't rejoin this one, and they're going to lose more. Ghost jumping in, also a fail initiation, a double whammy, and this is right when the Medallion is online. Tier 1 mid and bottom down. I think you just clear this one wave guard, and you go straight into the pit and dance with the big rock.
Yeah, they've got the Medallion and the Howl. Just the 2 points in the Howl, but... Vengeance Aura, and this should be not the fastest Roshan, but at least a Roshan they can take.
I mean, Venge is like a one-woman wrecking crew with Medallion and even just 1 point wave.
Yeah.
It'll be like a 20-25 second, or probably 20 seconds.
So nothing Invasion can do about this one. They'll just chill back and try and get some farm, push out lanes as much as they can while this Roshan goes down. And Slack with an Aegis now? Yikes, that's scary. Maybe Ember's pretty good.
It's too late though. Aegis already claimed now. Chu. To give out engagement, remember they do still have RC. You gotta be careful, but Chivix will initiate. Immediately they go in an FCFC. He skewers forward, he'll find the support.
Count RP.
Or what? Yeah, not killing off fours either. He's gotta go back, find the 2-hero RP there. And he will. That's about as good as it gets. They'll lose their Aegis. A 2 for 3. Counting the Aegis, or a 2 for 3. Got another buyback on the turn. They're going to re-engage. FCFC's cut out. Kecik Imba dropping quickly as well. That's the death of your Medusa, unless you get TP out. And nope, not going to happen. So in the end, a 4 for 3, I believe, with an Aegis also dropping. Yeah, and a buyback on the Ember. So really, I would say it's about a 4 for 4. That's not too bad for Invasion. But in the end, Insidious Idol will come out on top in terms of gold by a long shot, factoring that Roshan as well. And they are getting that Slark snowball rolling a little bit, gods.
Golden XP and just shutting down the Medusa, like getting that extra kill on the Medusa makes a big difference there. And you buy back into a 2-hero Searing Chains, it's worth it every single time from Ysera's point of view. So
yeah, he doesn't have to carry this game all on his own. Yeah. He's more of the initiator than anything else.
His item progression's pretty good. He's got the 2 Battle Fury components back at base, just 900 short, so anything from like a 25 to 27-minute battle queue you'll be pretty happy with.
Yeah, it's Slark who will ultimately man mode this game if he gets farmed. Your Ember's kind of there just to chip away, maybe clean up a few, and provide some additional lockdown. So I think they're on a good pace right now for Insidious Idol, and they want to be a bit ahead here. If it comes down to like a full 5v5 clash, if Invasion were even in gold, I think Invasion, assuming they get a decent RP, would win that.
Yeah.
But they're not going to get one until FCFC completes a BKB. Until then, there's just so many ways to interrupt his jumps. The Scarth Made Silence you pointed out last fight, there's Carapace counter initiation. Just so many good spells to throw a wrench into Invasion's plans, so I think if you're Invasion now, you desperately need to secure your FCFC Blink Dagger, or BKB, and I don't know what beyond that. Kecik Imba did end up going back for the Lincoln Spear, as we talked about, so he's still more and more vulnerable to this Nyx, who now has the level 3, almost level 4 mana burn.
It just feels like Invasion are forcing fights at the wrong time. Like, they were going to get to Roshan too late. I guess they don't know that. They think maybe they can take a fight and get in there with a Blink RP and a good Stone Gaze, but they didn't have the Bat 4 stuff. They didn't have the Mag BKB.
I'm just not sure how comfortable they are running this kind of strategy. When they were playing in the Summit 2 playoffs, they won almost every game just death falling.
Yeah.
Usually with a Death or a Razor.
And 5-man push strats were fantastic.
For Protect 1, it's just not feeling as crisp as their 5-man push strats were. I don't know if it suits them. Maybe they just need more practice on it, but... Well, no better time to get it than a group stage, that's for sure.
Yeah, so still well in this game here. As far as the net worth is in Insidious' favor, about 6k gold, but Invasion, the more experienced team, and definitely the team who've been a lot more consistent as of late. So not a team you can count out despite this deficit.
Yeah, and it's ultimately still a manageable deficit. It's not out of control yet.
And looking at the Insidious side, you've got Avenge, Skyra. These are kind of supports you fall off a little bit.
He's gonna find FCFZ here in the jungle. The mighty jungle. The Magma sleeps tonight.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Could have gone for the skewer to the high ground.
Well, he was pounced though.
Yeah,
I
think it was about to wear. I think it was about to wear. I guess maybe it hadn't quite worn off.
Oh,
Tail misses. It's the Searing Chainsaw. Oh, Chivix. He's keen.
Man, this slug is getting out of control.
Keen as mustard.
Mustard keen.
Mustard's very keen. Back. Oh. This is a dead slug.
Can they get a range? Ben's desperately trying
Stone Gaze! Oh, what a Stone Gaze!
Oh, Ben's almost got there. He tried. It's like waiting against the Riptide.
Oh my god.
Couldn't quite swim her way on through and fall short in the end.
You can't swim into a Riptide. You gotta go.
Yeah, you gotta go with the tide. You can't fight it.
Yeah, you go out your perpendicular angles, and that's how you get out of Riptide. For those of you viewers who
it doesn't work against Dusa though. Dusa has a slightly wider area or a directional swing than an actual Riptide is the problem. You go on her at anything but an exact 180 and bam, you're stoned.
Well, down the mid lane they go. It's like that. This is the time to push, and Kecik Imba's working on the butterfly. He's 1k gold off of it.
He does have buyback, but you really don't want to blow that now. I think you just let if you have to, you let this tier 2 go.
Yeah. This is not worth quarreling over if you don't have to.
They also do have a glyph. I don't know if they want to blow that either.
You seriously maybe thinking about mounting a 15 seconds. At this point, you've waited this long. You'll wait that 10 seconds longer. An Invasion.
An awkward glyph timing though is. That was right when Kecik Imba was about to back off. They had no creep wave. Slark was respawning soon. Well, they do hold the tier 2 though.
Yeah. Very low, but at the end of the day, you still have that kind of nice little strategic focal point in the middle of the lane.
Jibix is back online. He's only 1,400 gold off of his Abyssal, and he manages to pick this guy up. That's where he can solo kill anyone except for Medusa, and with the help of, I think, Slark plus Nyx, that's enough right there just to kill Kecik Imba, but that will change soon as Medusa player Kecik Imba, Mushi's old protege, is closing in on this butterfly. In fact, he's got it in about 100 gold.
Yeah, that's...
And there's no MKB anywhere in sight on your Slark. Maybe he even goes for an MKB instead of an Abyssal.
This is where the supports have to really deliver if they want to deal with the Medusa. The Avenge, the Scarith, the Nyx. Use the magic burst damage to help out there with the mana burn. Because Slark, unless Medusa's isolated and completely alone, I don't think you really want to go for the Medusa. You want to be going for these easier kills elsewhere. But even elsewhere, there's an Ogre, there's a Disruptor, Magnus. These are relatively tanky supports. Disruptor much less so, but the rest of the
other 3 are reasonably durable.
Yeah.
I really think they want a gem here now if you're Invasion. You're up against the Nyx. You'd love to snag BSR's gem or even look to purchase your own. Just such a game changer.
Yeah, once one of the supports can afford it, just buy one for the Batrider. Batrider working on a BKB, which is, I think, fine here. He doesn't want to pay for the gem end of the day. Let someone else finance it.
The one area where Insidious Idol have struggled a little bit is just shutting down the Medusa. The last time we saw this Nyx pick to deal with Medusa earlier today, there was also a tiny Wisp backing it up, and they were just everywhere, but we haven't really seen that so much. Kecik Imba having a much better time. He's 8-2 and 6. I mean, what was the Medusa last time? It was like 4 or 5 deaths in a row without any kills.
And that was, I guess, the combination of Nyx with the Wisp Sven, so...
Oh, it was Wisp Sven, that's right, not Wisp Tiny. But yeah, the Wisp +1.
So this game, Medusa's had a bit better protection. You mentioned it during the draft. Magnus plus Batrider actually good space creators and kind of heroes who can back up a Medusa. And then you're not really, like, aside from the Slack, and there's not too much added ganking pressure from the... Like, once you get to the mid to late game.
They're going to look to jump out this bottom lane, maybe, Insidious Idol. But it's the Medusa who comes in first. Everybody else to the tier 3, and that is not happening. I don't think they can really go on this Medusa. Not unless she's off on her own.
It's just starting to look a bit lost. Like, they've, up until about a couple minutes ago, they seemed to have a pretty big game plan. There was some sloppy fights here or there, but it seemed like Insidious had a good idea of what they wanted to do and where they were going. But suddenly, it's like, oh, we can't really push, we're not really getting kills, we're not really farming that efficiently. Chipix is off farming himself, but the other 4 are just like, well, what next? What do we do? We've hit a roadblock.
I think they can keep on farming. They're a little bit light on the team fight and pick off, though, which is where I do worry if this goes late. But I don't really see them being able to fight right now. If Invasion want to slither around the map for Protect 1 and they're not just getting caught out in bad positions, I don't think you really have a choice. I
think it's a good news. Invasion is a full Protect 1. You haven't got any... The 2 supports, like 1,800 net worth on your Disruptor, 3,000 on your Ogre, they're bottom 2, and then you look at the Bat and the Magnus, they're also pretty damn poor. They're at least more farm than the Nyx, but they're behind both Ember and Slack by a pretty solid margin, so you're not up against like a 3-core lineup at this stage.
Yeah, Chipix is very large, but
yeah,
I don't know if he can do it alone. You can't have one farm carry against a Batrider mag. I mean, if there's any one carry that can deal with it, it's probably Slark, because you can Dark Pact off everything they throw at you, but that's not even counting the Static Storm, Kinetic Field, which you can't Dark Pact off.
Bottom tower is under attack.
Just the fact that, ultimately, I don't know if he wins the man fight against Medusa if there's like a +1 there. He's going to need the Nyx to be throwing out multiple mana burns, and Invasion is still going to have the better... If it's a well-organized fight, I just see Invasion. But if it's chaotic and crazy, that's where Insidious Idol can leave their mark.
Everyone, like you mentioned, +1, like any one of those +1s has some way of dealing with Slack, be it like a Disable, an RP, Disruptor with the Glimpse Static Storm, Batrider with the Lasso, and this is a game where I feel Slack is going to have to get a BKB at some point. Can probably wait till after his Abyssal Blade, or maybe even after like an MKB to deal with the Butterfly, but this is definitely a BKB game, looking at all these stuns and lockdown on the Invasion side.
I would agree with that.
Radiant's middle tower
worried about a Roshan. Roshan has respawned, but it's not going down just yet.
Radiant structures are fortified.
They're laying down some flames just to get a little bit of vision, and I do like this play a lot from Insidious Idol. Pushing top, pushing mid. You know they have the better pickoff as well, because they're dangerous to show anyone bottom when the Batriders crowd through the tree, so they'll give up their tier 2 bottom lane. Pretty important Roche tower, but they'll look for the trade here mid. At the same time though, top lane, Kecik Imba's rotated and Ysera will be forced back. They don't actually claim a tier 2 of their own. So they bring the top to about 2/3 and the mid to about 1/3.
And Medusa says, screw your Nyx, I'm going for a Scotty. Like, I'll get all the stats I need.
Kecik Imba is a really efficient farmer.
Kept up with a Midas Slack, and that's with a lot of pressure being put on him. Done well.
Yeah, let's not remember how his team was just so far behind in the early stages of the mid-game. Did not have the blink on the bat. Until like 17 minutes in, the Magnus had his blink, but was getting dealt with quite well, and there were some real fail ganks from Invasion, but Kecik Imba, through it all, has been persistent, patient, cool, calm, and collected, and he keeps the farm train rolling.
So Slack's decided to go Linken's over the BKB, and I think he needed a defensive item, like the Linken's or the BKB. He can't go Glass Cannon against this draft right now, and Linken's will help him out, for sure.
Just being up against Disruptor,
Yeah.
If they ever break that Lincoln's and then just static storm you and with a glimpse, I don't know what you do. So that's where I would lean towards BKB, but you can make an argument for either one.
There's the glimpse and the lasso, so I guess there's two big spells which the Lincolns can save you from. But, yeah. Batrider lurking nearby. Almost called the Nyx Assassin here, and Userid gets a fire run out as the blink comes through.
Close call. They'll smoke and continue to rotate towards bottom. Invasion really taking the fight here at Insidious Idol. Looking for some pickoffs, some map control perhaps, and Kecik's doing an artful job of split pushing, just casually leaping over that big hill. And he's already in the mid lane, killing your creeps there too. What a pain in the ass Tony Slark is to deal with.
Yeah, Kecik has played a pretty solid game, all in all. And that's like we've had some kind of crazy chaotic fights, and he's been the leading force of that chaos, and in Insidious's favor. But right now, they're up kills, but it doesn't feel like they're translating that into objectives. They've yet to kind of take a tier 2 tower, and it's an Invasion who, despite being down on actual overall farm, are still finding themselves in pretty solid footing right now with a very farm Medusa.
Yeah, we're getting ready to wrap up our SEA Dota with this match, then we move into Europe, and well, they're looking to make it a bit of a later game once again. The team's going into the Roach Pit now. Your Invasion squad set up. It looked like Insidious Idol might even try to contest that. They were in the neighborhood, but they said, no, hell no, we're going to split push instead. Kecik will clean up, or at least attempt to clean up the tier 2 top lane. I think he'll get this, though. Magnus is on the move, has an RP at the ready, probably wants to blink skewer first, if anything. Clips. No. Just out of vision, it looks like.
Yeah, I think those two can't kill alone. He's got Shadow Dance, Pounce, Blink, so
yeah,
he gets away.
It is worth mentioning you can't Dark Pack that off, so Glimpse is quite scary. One of the better ways. I mean, it's not like a single, by itself it's not a solution for Slark, but it can set up for other solutions.
Yeah. So this Blink is going to be a good item, because FC going to get cut. Forces out an RP, did not.
Oh, Kecik.
Dark Pack time for that one.
Cocky, but it might actually work out. He even wants to go in on the tower. Oh, I don't know about that.
His Blink being not quite disabled.
Yeah. No, take him to the other. It was like twice he almost made his way out, but
yeah.
I mean, you could see the idea there. I can either force out an RP and then just run, or just straight up kill SCFC, but he just underestimated how many heroes Invasion had at the ready, and I mean, if it was any one of the other heroes, I would say Space created and then not even be sarcastic, but when it's the Slark, it's just an unacceptable casualty.
I think it was just cockiness, not really expecting the Magnus just to insta-RP. Magnus is like, screw you, I'm gonna RP this, and sure, you won't die during the RP, but you'll die during the aftermath.
Yeah, if he really expected, he could have Static Storm and losing all my spell names right now. Dark Packed it and then jumped in, but he tried to reserve it defensively, and it ends up costing his life. They will take the tier 2 bottom though, Insidious Idol, collecting some gold, and they'll trade that for their own tier 2 top. So a fairly even trade here. This could be a bit of a game changer. Shaggysaur's getting a Blink Dagger on Venge, and often an item you don't really see on her. Generally just because Venges tend not to farm at all, but
yeah, it's nice.
It gives you a really long range initiation, but it's like, who's going to follow that up is the question.
Invasion, well, the 5-man is real. It's going to come at a much later time than we've seen in the past and during the summon stuff, but Medusa pretty much 6-slotted, well, beyond upgrading the Yasha and has got the Aegis item slot. You may even consider going high ground off of this. Black's respawned, but
they're going to try for it. Remember, it is a bloodlust to do, so they'll break down and get spear quickly, and yeah, you will see her just melt to this mana burn if they try to push.
Yeah, that's the worry, so fall back a little bit here. Medusa is going to just TP bottom to continue farming. Boots of Travel online, and Kecik is massive.
What a snake. I mean that in a good way. Yeah, Insidious Idol, I don't actually, the more this game develops, the less I feel confident that they can take it late. But I continue to not really be sure how they avoid that.
The actual team fight heroes are heavily Invasion favored, looking at having Batrider and Magnus, whereas the Insidious side, they've got really nothing as far as the actual team fight goes. Nyx is just not really looking. Nyx theoretically can be, but we have just not seen him use his Impale and Carapace to dish out good crowd control in these fights.
I think I've seen one 3-hero Impale, but it is 38 minutes in now, so that's a bit underwhelming. And even then, it's It's more like he also has to live forever, so he can keep on. He's got 950 health. Against the Medusa splash damage, that's not too many auto attacks. Speaking of that Medusa, gods, double damage rune online has some heavy duration remaining on this, and
Aegis still has a minute and a half too.
oh,
So
this might just be
Radiant's
either
top
Elena
tower
Brax
is
or
under
multiple
attack.
lives thrown at this Medusa to shut her down.
yeah.
We'll get like 10 seconds more to go. CD row, something like that.
This tower's just going down fast. You could have glyphed this, surely.
Dire's structures
Alright,
are fortified.
These are precious seconds of double damage rune down the drain, but the Kecik Imba goes back in for a few last auto attacks, so get the tower there.
Has fallen.
Looking for more. Chivix wraps around from the side. They want to engage at the same time. He's going to leap in on ADTR, try to force out some commitment here from Invasion, who drops the defensive static storm. Chivix ult.
Solo RP time.
Be wearing off soon. There's your skewer. Where's that RP follow-up? Back there. Now the RP and Chivix. Oh, no. Flip back the other way. Oh, my goodness. This guy's getting jumbled.
And they get him anyways. Kecik Imba on the Deuce has Aegis though, and he's on the front line, takes a ton of damage, which is ideal for Invasion. They don't care if he dies with this Aegis. They need to make sure he doesn't die before losing his Aegis, which is going to be gone in about 30 seconds time.
Attack.
So that was like, he tanked the entire Skywrath Mage ultimate and DPs himself home, so all's well that ends well. And Insidious Idol suddenly find themselves in kind of a tough spot.
That they certainly do. As far as where they can go from here, not really sure. Chivix going for this Lincoln Sphere Eye of Scotty also leaves him somewhat item starved. I guess his next item should be MKB, sell the Midas, and
Yeah.
then he's close to done unless he wants to start swapping out some items. Your Ember for Ysera just feels very ineffective. Because the thing is, as you mentioned, for one thing, a lot of Invasion are tanky gods, and that's generally where Embers struggle, is when they can't just bring a hero down to, or bring multiple heroes even down to half instantly from a single sleight of fist. But
Yep.
the other issue is, I just don't know how he sticks around near a fight with all this lockdown. They have so many stuns. Static Storm, reliable lockdown there. Lasso to set things up. The Ogre chain stun coming out, and then the Magnus to kind of wrap things up.
Yeah, I feel like even some of these heroes you just haven't seen too much from, like the Ogre, but it's because he's been there, but Insidious just haven't really fought into him because they're so scared of going anywhere near these other big spells. So Ogre's just there as like the backup insurance policy, and
This is one way to deal with it, though. Get some Heaven's Halberds. Just disarm the crap out of that Medusa, but they can disarm her. Can they get kills during that time? We'll see.
and this is a
Radiant's middle
newly
tower is
purchased
under
Daedalus
attack.
that's being added to the push as well.
Yeah, that creep wave. Done for.
They are pushing bottom lane. Right? I guess they got the range Rex mid and they can swing back for the melee, but yeah, they're gonna fall back a little bit here. No Roshan for at least another 2 minutes, and
Top lane is also pushing. If Kecik Imba tries to push through mid, they may meet some resistance on the other end of the world.
they may just, at this point they've got just about buyback on, they've got buyback on Medusa, so it's like, okay, it's kind of like the buyback Spectre home where you just have offers so much in a team fight, they've got to kill you twice because of that buyback.
Smoke was used by Insidious Idol. It's going to wear off now. They get the Impale. Monburn to follow it up. ADTR. One up going down. Your RP from FCMC was blown. I thought he cancelled it in the middle of the time. He was just a bit too slow. Blink out. At the same time, though, maybe they don't need RP.
Yeah, I think Deuce is just going to bring this down fast.
But they may get caught on the way out. Chivix wants the backstab, and he's on top of Radiant Observer. He'll know it because he's no longer shadow dancing.
Surprised Deuce didn't just commit to that Raxia. I guess there is mana burn, so you'd get brought down pretty fast once that Lincoln's is broken, and hey, they're just playing it safe on the invasion end of things.
Still a pretty nice hold for Insidious Idol overall. It's not able to force their way in.
Anything to buy him time. They've got the Abyssal Blade now on Chivix. That was his next purchase after he sold his Midas. Oh, he's going to get lassoed. Got the Dark Pact off though. Nicely played there. Shadow Dance away even just to be on the safe side. Has another Pounce Blink in a couple seconds, and it's a DD rune of all things.
Should be okay. They're going to go into mid again, but the Kecik Imba getting caught out of it. Mystic Flare just lobbed in wildly. That one's off the mark.
Yeah, that was a wild one. What? Venge blinks in looking for a swap. This is aggressive play. The second one gets cast. It's ADTR. Job is well done here.
Chivix jumping in straight on ADTR. We'll bring him down. Oh, though, guys, he doesn't
Not fighting
his way out of
Medusa.
here. He's going to try and survive for a bit longer. But, well, actually, he can't because it's currently cooling down. And now they look to turn this one. BSR getting chased by the Medusa, just auto-attacking.
Drops a gem.
Plunging through with these.
This Scarab drops a gem and he doesn't even die. Oh boy.
Backside of the fight though, Ember catching out your Ogre Magi, chains through, and the Ghost Scepter keeping him alive for a little bit. He needed a multi. Where's your RNG? It doesn't come, and he'll end up going down as an exchange. And in the end, that looks to be a pretty decent little fight there for Team Insidious Idol.
And they're not done. They're chasing further. They want the Mag who has a skewer just in time. Searing Chains hits though, and Slark follows it up. Impale as well from the Nyx. He drops a gem. Recover that one. The Scareth gift has been returned.
So he just like plopped it down on the floor?
He thought he was dead because Medusa was right-clicking him, so he's like, let's just drop this on the ground and hope no one notices. And he kept running.
I mean, if you die there, it's going to be like in the same spot anyway. So.
Yeah, I thought I think he was trying to be sneaky or to like pass it off to his teammate, but
didn't work out.
Yeah. So Insidious still in this game. They dead even pretty much on net worth and total farm experience now, about 7,000 in their favor. And
I mean, there's two ways to look at that, right? One is, well, they didn't have RP because they wasted it. But the other is, Invasion are a good lineup to make you waste RPs. So, where you might worry a bit if you're an Invasion fan. Insidious Idol just have so many ways to dodge out from that. The Force Staff on the Skyrat, the Leap, Dark Pact, and Blink from the Slark. The Ember who can zip or even BKB away just to dodge some of that incoming magic damage follow-up. The Blink on Venge and Nyx. We've seen them dodge a handful of RPs already, and they may dodge more as this game goes on. Insidious Idol trying to go back in here. Chibix on the precipice of engaging.
A lot of finesse is going to be needed by Insidious Idol to win this game. Like the flashy plays from Slark and the rest of the teammates continuing to dodge these spells is going to be crucial. Otherwise, they just don't stand a chance.
Like you said, it's a very close game, though. To be only a 5,000 gold deficit at 45 minutes. Very, very tightly knit game. And it's going to be Kecik Imba that strolls into the pit. He's got some backup in hand. Your dire side. Vision status negatory. Chibix caught out on the high ground by the Bat Rider. He's going to ulti, try to retreat out. Can they get that glimpse to bring him back on into the pit? They will. Now the static stone's waiting for him. He doesn't have a BKB. He's got no solution for this. Just load up as the Aegis hits the deck. They manage to lock him down through the Roshan death. Grab the Aegis. Grab the cheese. Slark has no buyback for 110 seconds.
You've got to expect that high ground vision there. Like, he's just trying to be sneaky and just lurk around the Roshan pit, thinking he's in Falcon. He even knows this award there. He's a Slark. He gets revealed, but like his Shadow Dance wears off.
I think it was one of those, like, right as he started to realize that he wasn't having Shadow Dance, so he was already
damage
caught.
Was done. So no Slark buyback. You can
might straight through 90 seconds. I don't know if they realize it's on cooldown because he could have it off in 9, but he's actually short the gold guts.
Dusa just getting constantly spammed down a bit. Dusa does not pick up the Aegis.
Another RP. Oh, this time STFZ cancels it. Holds it in reserve.
Just the bench for now, and Dusa's getting constantly harassed. And without the Aegis on Dusa, this is a bit tricky to sustain this push. They got to keep spamming urns and whatever heals they can to keep this Dusa juiced up.
Regular old Barry Bonds type we've got here is Kecik Imba. He's a Dusa Bloodlust.
Bloodlust and Empower. He is juicing.
He's got the Roid Lust. That's for damn sure. Declare coming through. Kecik Imba just going to casually pop that heal and keep on going forward. And he'll just start to work with the tower now as the FCFZ Magnus comes back to life. Looks to re-engage. He's going to go in for an RP now. Does actually cancel.
He's not finding RP.
He's got no BKB. I think he might be done for now. No, he's kept alive still for a very long time.
Push over though, I think, even with 20 seconds on before Slark's back, they're taking too much damage.
It's okay. Medusa's got her boots of travel back. She had a casual courier. Form of that disruptor.
You can really see how well Nyx does against Medusa, and this has not been a particularly effective Nyx performance this game, but these pushes are so hard against Nyx Assassin. You just spam that mana burn, Dusa gets constantly harassed, and you just chip away.
Yeah, when she's using split shot, guaranteed to be doing some damage to you, so easy carapace stun as well.
Yep. From the tempest of battle. Need some kind of almost like lifesteal on Medusa or something just to keep her healthy and full HP. There's not enough urn charges to keep on spamming them.
I'm not sure the Lincoln really does anything for you this game at this point. It blocks that first mana burn, but you just compare the cooldowns. Like,
it's still like 17-second cooldown, so you
versus a 4-second mana.
Yeah,
but that's not counting the bench swap, the bench stun, the Skyrat silence. Like, There's a lot of other ways to break this, or just follow it up. I don't know. I think if you choose an item to replace here, it's probably the Lincolns.
It's just so dangerous without the Lincolns that you can get caught by surprise by like a swap into like a bunch of heroes or like some kind of just straight up initiation.
But if they go on you, then Mag and Bat should be able to back you up.
That's true. So Insidious,
and then you can BKB Satanic.
Smoke downwards through the Radiant jungle. They're pinging out the Disruptor, but that's not going to be a game-winning pick-off by any.
They are going to find him here. Kecik Imba just struts in, walks up. They get the one kill. Do they get anything more? Nice little push forward. Your Magnus RP! FZ with another terrifyingly unfortunate airball. He may still win this fight. They'll bring down the Ember Spirit regardless. FZ kept alive. Stegosaur is going to be next. Your Ember Spirit out of the game. He does have a buyback if needed. Medusa BKB was popped, though not required, and FCFC just putting up one of the worst performances I've seen out of him in a few months. He's really been playing well lately for Invasion, but this is a very uncharacteristic.
They still win the fight, though. That's the funny thing.
That's the crazy thing, yeah.
They seem to Insidious struggle when they're not just like sitting at the choke point on the high ground defending their base, like, and with Medusa in the front line. So that kind of more spread out open fields playing like battleground that was there at the bottom lane doesn't really suit them, because Nyx Assassin can't just walk in for mana burns without putting himself in a bad position where he's just going to get burst down really fast. So
Medusa does going to be the Satanic for Kecik Imba. He's already bought his helmet of Dominator. He's flying that courier out to the Secret Shop. He will have buyback with the Satanic.
Yeah.
One option here is to like pop your BKB, then quickly swap out the Satanic and just go take the fight that way.
Yep. Drop your travels even on the courier.
Yeah, that's possible. Could do the siege into Medusa. But if you do that, you want the courier back in the base though, so if you die, you can.
Oh yeah, with the buyback. Yeah. I guess the other option is you have it just, well, you could always just have it with you if you need to get to another lane to farm, but we'll see what he does here. He's bringing it up to him. Doesn't actually have the Reaver just yet, which is problematic. Gotta finish off the item before you can use it, Medusa.
I mean, he already buyback, so I'm not sure what he's waiting for. There you go. Yeah, I think he replaced BOTs or Lincoln, but I am curious to see what Kecik Imba thinks. Find out soon, gods. They're going to push through top, Invasion, trying to get all these lanes going their way. And mid certainly is, bottom lane not even at the rivers, but it is pushing against them slowly but surely, so they'll have at least a minute here to try and break the base.
He drops the travels, he's going to waddle his way up towards his top lane, and
37k net worth, and I mean, part of that is on the courier. Still though, they're going to look to engage. Your BKB Bat Rider jump, not successful. To get off the last one, now the swap on in, the logistics for ADTR just blowing him up. FTFT, another RP cast, this time he cancels it again before it goes off, but he's just feeling desperate. Kecik Imba starting to lose a lot of stats here. They're going to have to nail it out at some point. RP comes through, but Timix manages the Dark Packet. Then no follow-up impale. That connects on quite a few heroes. They use the mana burn, but not enough. Kecik Imba still holding his ground. They're going to need like 2-3 more mana burns to bring him down to the danger zone. And Slark did end up going down here. I'm not sure they can really engage any further. Chains comes through. But without the Slark, there's just no way. Kecik Imba is just chuckling all the way to the bank. He ends up getting the kill on your Ember. Oh, that final killing projectile followed him back and brought him down.
Must have been a crit as well, because that Ember Spirit still had like a couple hundred HP.
I believe it was a crit.
I saw his HP, but I'm like, oh, he's fine. And then suddenly he said, buyback instantly used, and again, not just Magnus, even the Bat Rider is struggling to get good initiations off.
Slark did buyback as well. They gotta make something big happen.
They gotta kill Zeus.
Expensive little turnaround. Impale was whipped. I think they gotta go anyway, even if it's not likely. They have to make these buybacks count. W to Kecik Imba, they'll look for the initiation. Your Abyssal Blade's ready. They can blow him up. Where's the Abyssal? There's your stun. They'll bring him down. Now they look for a bit more. But Matt able to leap on out to safety. They'll settle for a consolation prize to the Ogre. Still, that was an Ember buyback, I believe, as well as a Slark buyback. Very, very expensive. 6.5 minutes cooldown on those buybacks, up from the old 5.5 minutes that it would have been. And item progression has actually become a slight issue here, gods. Well, it's actually a pretty bad item progression, but we're far enough in the game that pretty bad is still free items. So, you know, it's not like they're just saying on like a Lincoln Spirit throwing it. Slark's looking for a bit more. Tries to jump on the goat, can't get in range, and yeah, Slark, no real progression here. Just Lincoln's, Abyssal, and Scotty's are the same items for like 15-20 minutes, and I think your Ember's pretty much in the same spot too.
Yeah, I feel this is like we're going to this critical point where Yasir just needs to go big for like a rapier on his Ember Spirit. At the same time, he's probably thinking MKB just to deal with the evasion and have that as well. But
the other thing they do want is some solutions for these pesky Ghost Scepters. 3 Ghost Scepters online, Diffuse a Blade now snapped up by your Scarith Mage.
Yeah.
They want to make sure your Slark and Ember are just free to go ham in the fight.
That does put a lot of pressure on Scarith to stay alive and be in a position to use this on these Ghost Scepter heroes, so...
I believe.
Yeah.
I don't know how much I believe, though. He does have evasion.
I believe a little. It's a pretty tanky Scarith. Yeah, he's got the Halberd. This is a much more farm than what we're used to seeing Scarith Mage.
Well, this is about as farmed as you'll see in a Medusa, on that note. This is where you just go all full CTY mode and just start plug and play items and plugging and playing items until you win the game.
Get that casual rapier sitting around. Drop the use your BKB, pick up the rapier, and go from there.
There's an option.
I think Invasion in pretty comfortable position here. So I think as far as Deuce's items goes, it's like just like I don't think there's a clear upgrade on what you've currently got. The refresher to refresh your BKB / Stone Gaze is like a super luxury item for later down the track. The Necro 3 is your 7th item. There's other possibilities. And Roshan up in 20 seconds time.
I think those are by far the main ones. You could go for Manta. I mean, you can try and buy something like a Dagon or something like that, but that's just not realistic. Another RP. This one was used by FCFC.
Wait, what? What was he RPing? Was that
trying
to get the stock?
He went for the Ember who
okay.
zipped out, but I thought he canceled it. Like, I only heard like the whooshing noise of the windup. I don't. Maybe our speakers are just quiet in the studio, but yeah, it's an. I guess it's not going to matter again. And I will. That one is very difficult to pull off, but a lot of these other RPs that FCFC has missed have been just hesitation by him and not quite as crisp as what he needs to be on this.
No RP, let's go Roche, say Insidious. So there's been many fights Invasion of won without a good RP, without a good lasso initiation. So
I almost feel like they have a higher win percentage when they don't have RP.
I think we're going to be too late, however.
Roshan has fallen to the
And he
dark.
just drops the Talisman of Evasion, so he will be working on what appears to be a butterfly.
Now they want to rumble. Towards the mid lane they go, but up to the high ground and then up to the top lane. Trot, Team Invasion.
This Deuces is filthy rich. 12k net worth ahead of the
Like you said, it's like, what do you even... I mean, first of all, you can buy all your team's ward sentries, just gem. But beyond these team support items, there's only so many choices here for Medusa.
Medusa just kind of toggling back and forth from Boots of Travel to... Well, the Boots of Travel actually on the Disruptor. This is kind of cute. Who needs a courier? The courier is kind of vulnerable, so you put the Boots of Travel on your teammate and trade back and forth with the Satanic.
I mean, in the middle of a fight? That's not...
No, you hold the Boots of Travel is just like for walking around.
Yeah.
Oh, good quick swap.
Wing Skewer off the mark again, and not going to get that jump in as they were hoping for. Your Ember looks to come back out. From the sidelines comes Kecik straight onto the Disruptor. Almost misses him off. Doesn't quite get the kill. That Ghost Scepter doing a lot of work to Kecik Imba in. He's got Kecik charging in on top of him. He might end up going down here. Now he's jumping back the other way, still dropping low. Aegis will pop. They're going to lose the Ember though. Dead for 120. That's no buyback on Ember. No buyback on Scarlet. And if they lose Kecik, it's probably GG. I don't even know if his buybacks matter.
No, he doesn't have a buyback. He's on cooldown too.
Kecik Imba, even with all his mana gone, still has 3,200 health with a Satanic, which he has enough to activate. And
Radiant's
I love
bottom tower,
this Satanic
Dire's
pickup.
top
It just
barracks
makes him
has
unkillable,
Yep.
even with all the mana removed.
Yeah, zero
They
mana cost
They need a
Satanic.
mana void to kill him, but no anti-mates this game. That one was banned by Indeed.
Yes. And that's another lane of Rax. They can TP back home and push up bottom lane. They can just swing straight bottom if they want to. With 80 seconds, no Ember Spirit. Although, 80 seconds. Buyback going to be up at around the same time. And you're down 4 Raxes. This is where you got to be thinking, like, let's get some Rapiers into play. Let's get some new big pickups. Because Insidious are just running out of options. They can't just... At this point, I don't feel like you can fall back on your buybacks. I think you just need to win a clean, straight-up fight when you're down 4 Raxes.
Yeah. 4x is not 100% out of it, but very close. And again, I know I sound like a broken record, but That's a Midas Slark 58 minutes in, still not 6 slotted.
Yeah.
And he's 17, 6, and 8, so it's not like he struggled.
He's there now. He just got there, but...
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I really count Blink Treads as 6 slotted, but...
It's close.
He's not going toe-to-toe with this Medusa, that's for sure. Well, maybe when the BOTs are on her, but when you throw that Satanic in, man, that's just such a value pickup.
Yeah.
The other issue for Insidious Idol is I really feel like they have to somehow bait out the Medusa ult. Because it ruins the Slark in the team fights. He just doesn't get anything done. Ideally, you want to jump the Medusa, break her Lincolns, abyssal her, and just focus her down. Maybe when the RP's on cooldown or been baited out, which, I mean, has happened quite a few times in this game. Could happen again.
I think it's partly where Magnus and Bat have not got good ultis off this game is because Medusa has not really been focused. Like, there hasn't been that crowd around the Medusa to try and kill her kind of factor because of how scared they are of the RP, and even of someone getting lassoed at the start of a fight, so...
47k net worth.
Oh, God.
Ridiculous.
Printing money at this point is Kecik Imba.
I would like to see that next set of items. He's up to 13k gold in the bank. I mean, it's nice that he's microing the one carrier with the Satanic, but let's get a Necro book in there. You are up against Ember. You could just send it to the other lanes, though. Or he's not. And Manta would be nice here. We're going to jump in, though, immediately. Chipix, well, he'll just turn and try to engage on the Kecik Imba. Trying to focus down your Medusa. Does manage to get off that Abyssal Blade and the Bash. He's not enough to get the kill, though. Kecik is going to turn. He starts running them down. Ysera also almost falling. That Courier into the fray. Hasn't actually had to swap it in yet. He's still healthy even without it. Slark dies. GG. That's it. No buyback. No chance. Invasion will take an absolutely grueling 60-minute game.
Yeah, that was like a slugfest. So, like a lot of those early to mid-game fights where they were just kind of a bit sloppy all over the place, which is kind of the nature of the Slack, but they just kept Dusa alive, kept Dusa farming, and eventually the Invasion 4 Protect 1 strategy paid off. Well, that was Invasion now looking pretty good here in the SEA division.